Europeans first discovered Brazil in the early 16th century when ships from Portugal arrived on the central coast north of the Rio de Janeiro. But the country's history began thousands of years earlier. Occupying half of the South American landmass, Brazil is a giant of the continent, both in size and in population. One of the BRICS major nations with emerging economics, Brazil is a top global producer of coffee, and the country's economy is active in the agriculture, manufacturing, mining, and service sectors. Brazil is one of the world's top tourist destinations, but the country is in the 21st century. It still faces serious questions regarding poverty, inequality, governance, and the environment. Before we continue with this video, don't forget to subscribe. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up and share. Relatively recently discovered evidence suggests human settlement in Brazil began more than 30,000 years ago. Brazil's name comes from the pau-brasil, Portuguese for Brazil tree, the country's national tree and a national resource that played an important role in the economic development of the nation. Brazil's border touches all countries on the South American continent except Chile and Ecuador. Brazil is the fifth largest country in the world by land area and sixth largest by population. Brazil was the last country in the Americas to abolish slavery in 1888. Football, soccer, is by far the most popular sport in Brazil, and the men's national team has won a record 5 World Cup championships. The largest amount of money stolen from a bank by robbers occurred on August 6–7, 2005 in Fortaleza, Brazil, according to the Guinness Book of World Records. A gang of up to 10 people dug a 256-foot-long tunnel to size 5 containers of currency estimated at nearly 70 million. Brazil is one of the world's most biodiverse countries with a total of 4 million plant and animal species, according to estimates. It has more species of monkeys than any other nation. Brazilians are generally descended from 3 ethnic groups: Amerindians, Africans, and Europeans. Rio de Janeiro hosts the world's largest carnival, annually held in the first week of March. The 2018 carnival reportedly drew 6 million participants. Osama bin Laden themed bars are something of a trend in Brazil. Well, there is a couple anyway. Bar do Bin Laden in Sao Paulo, run by an Osama lookalike, and Caverna do Bin Laden, or Bin Laden's Cave, which can be found just in Niterói, around 25 kilometers north of Rio de Janeiro. The world's best beach, according to TripAdvisor, is Baía do Sancho in Brazil. It is found in archipelago Fernando de Noronha, just over an hour by air from Natal. Here, 21 islands form a marine park that draws drivers from far and wide to see green and hawksbill turtles, whales, lemon and reef sharks, clownfish, anemones, and parrotfish. The country's motto is Ordem e Progresso, meaning order and progress. Brasilia looks like an airplane from above. Oscar Niemeyer, the chief architect of Brasilia's public buildings, has designed more than 500 structures, most of which can be found in Brazil. The distinctive Cathedral of Brasilia is one of his most famous. It features 16 90-ton columns and 66-foot bell tower, entrances via an underground tunnel, and inside are 3 angels suspended by steel cables. A number of Nazis fled to Brazil after the Second World War, including Joseph Miguel, the Angel of Death, known for his cruel experiments and fascination with twins. The high rate of twin births in the town of Cândido Godoy, near the Argentine border, has been attributed to him, but disproven. The Nazis also sent an expedition to Brazil in 1935 with a view to setting up an outpost in the Amazon. According to the author, Jens Glessing, one of the party died during the trip. Glessing found a 9-feet-high wooden cross etched with swastikas on a tributary of the Jari River. The inspiration read, Joseph GREINER died here on 2nd 1st, 1936, a death from fever in the service of German research work. Tours of Brazil's shanty towns or favelas have become popular tourist attractions in recent years. Among the most famous is colorful Santa Maria in Rio de Janeiro, which has been visited by the likes of Michael Jackson, Madonna, and Beyoncé. Sao Paulo has some of the world's worst traffic jams. According to Companhia de Engenharia de Tráfego, the city's traffic management agency, a congestion record was set on November 15, 2013, with a total of 309 kilometers, which is 192 miles, of queues around the city during the evening rush hour. Sao Paulo has the largest economy by GDP of any cities in Southern Hemisphere, and 11th overall. For the best views of skyscraper-studded metropolis, head to highest floor of the Edificio Italia, the tallest building in a city center at 46 stores. The Amazon River is the world's largest by volume of water discharged, around 209,000 cubic meters per second flow into the Atlantic Ocean, more than the next 7 largest rivers combined, and enough to fill Lake Baikal, the world's deepest lake, in less than 4 years. During the wet season, the river is up to 30 miles wide. The most popular surname in Brazil is Silva. The statue of Christ the Redeemer in Rio de Janeiro weighs 635 tons, is 38 meters high, including its pedestal, and was named one of the new 7 wonders of the world in 2007. It was damaged by a lightning strike in 2014. Brazil has more than 4,000 airports, more than any other country other than the US, which has a remarkable 13,513. Brazil has 21 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Among the best known is the Iguaçu National Park, home to one of the world's largest and most impressive waterfalls, at 1.7 miles wide and with a total of 275 drops. It is also occupied by several rare and endangered species, among them the giant otter and the giant anteater. Among the newest are the Pampulha Modern Ensemble, a garden city project by Oscar Niemeyer, added by UNESCO in 2016, and the Valongo-Var archaeological site, inscribed in 2017. Some 1.5 million to 2.5 million Brazilians are of Japanese descent. Many immigrants brought with them seedling of cherry trees and cherry blossoms can be viewed outside homes in São Paulo and in public parks in Curitiba. Around 6.4 million tourists visit Brazil each year, one of the fewest of any country in the world as a percentage of its total population. Half of them head to Rio. Manaus is located in the middle of the Amazon rainforest, but it's home to more than 2,000.5 million people. Rubber made it South America's richest city in the late 1800s and lured many wealthy Europeans. The Teatro Amazonas is one of its most notable buildings and was opened in 1896. Other strange abandoned sites are the Viaduct Petrobras, a stretch of elevated road in the middle of the jungle and part of the Rio Santos Highway until plans were altered, and Terra Encantada theme park closed due to safety concerns. With 82% of its population tracing their ancestry back to the sordid days of slavery, Salvador is described as the biggest African city outside Africa. Fishermen in Laguna, in the southeast of Brazil, are able to use dolphins to help them catch dinner. The animals will herd fish towards waiting nets, even flicking their head to indicate that the trap has been set. The practice has been going on for generations, the fishermen say, but was only recently been reported by Western media. Despite its location, the official language of Brazil is Portuguese, and is the only country in the South America to speak this language. Including its offshore islands, Brazil is divided into 4 time zones. Sugarloaf Mountain is a granite and quartz monolith, and one of the most famous landmarks in the world. You'll find it in Rio de Janeiro, rising to an impressive 396 meters from sea level. It became a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2012. Contrary to what you might think, the capital is Brasilia, not Rio de Janeiro. It covers an area of 2,240 square miles and had a population of 4,155,000 in 2015. Brazilians live for an average of 75.49 years. There is a replica of the 14th century Japanese temple Kinakakuyi in Brazil. With a massive Japanese community, it doesn't come as a surprise that Sao Paulo has a replica of one of Japan's most significant temples, right? A little over an hour's drive from the city center, the town of Itapecerica de Serra is home to a beautiful cinerarium. This cinerarium is based in a Japanese Kinkakuyi temple's replica, surrounded by a gorgeous garden. In Kyoto, this temple is covered in gold leaf, hence the name Kinkakuyi, which means golden pavilion in English. This is the end of our video. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up and share. Also, for more interesting videos, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. Obrigado.